economic growth and economic expansion. And the policies that will be pursued will be perfectly timed with what's going on here in North Louisiana. All along the I-20 corridor, we've been calling this for some time the cyber corridor, and now we have this real opportunity to, with the advent of AI and the development of all that, with data centers and the new needs that are out there, North Louisiana and Northeast Louisiana specifically is very well situated to maximize that potential and that opportunity. So we're poised and ready. A lot of this is underway already, but we believe there's really unlimited potential here right now. We have the greatest people, the greatest collection of natural resources, hardworking folks that are really looking forward to that chance. And so we're just excited about what can happen. When we have unified government, as we call it, when you have one party in charge of the White House and both chambers, which we believe is going to happen, then we'll do that as a top priority right out of the blocks in the new Congress beginning in January. And it is timed very well with what Louisiana's doing, with the great leadership out of Governor Landry's office and with economic development, and with all of our state legislators who are focused on this as well. So we need to expand the economy here. We need more growth. We need more opportunity. We need higher wages and more jobs. And now we're poised to actually do that. And so it's a very exciting time for our state and for our country. So y'all have questions? We're happy to take them. Yes, sir. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Good.
Hey, I wanted to ask you about Zuckerberg the other day admitting, I'm surprised that given, I guess, a little credit for finally admitting it, being pressured to suppress information during the last election cycle online. And maybe get your thoughts on that. Are people going to, is there going to be investigations on this? People go to jail?
Yeah, so Mark Zuckerberg issued a letter to our House Judiciary Committee, where I served before I became Speaker of the House in October. He admitted finally to what we've known for 3 years, and that is that the big tech platforms were unconstitutionally censoring certain viewpoints online. And we know that that's happened because it was not this July, but last July 4th, there was a voluminous federal court opinion that actually came out of the Western District of Louisiana, our federal court. And you all will remember that Louisiana and Missouri, when Jeff Landry was the Attorney General, he filed suit with Attorney General Eric Schmidt in Missouri, who's now a U.S. Senator. They filed a lawsuit against the Biden administration, and the complaint was that we knew that conservative persons and conservative viewpoints are being censored online. They litigated the case, and there was a thick federal court opinion that came out July 4th of 2023, and the judge said that this was proven to be true, that they looked at all the evidence, and he called it dystopian and Orwellian, and he said it was the greatest infringement upon free speech in the First Amendment since the creation of the amendment. And what he was talking about is the fact that we now know what was happening. It's incredible to say. But in 2020, 2021, the big tech platforms were meeting in Silicon Valley regularly with the FBI field office. And there was a field office director there named Elvis Chan. We know all the specifics. And they were showing up with lists of persons like me, like conservative legislators and conservative influencers, and messages that they wanted censored on the platforms. And so it was everything from differences of opinion about the efficacy of the COVID vaccine to even parody and comedy, humorous things about the president, about President Biden in early 2021. And they suppressed in 2020 information about Hunter Biden's laptop. And so it did untold damage because they censored and silenced viewpoints that the American people were entitled to hear. And in fact, the federal court opinion said millions of free speech protected postings were never seen by the American people. It might have had a big income on that outcome of the 2020 election, and none of us can ever really determine all that. But the point is, it's egregious because the online platform is now the town square. It is the free marketplace of ideas, and if the government is putting its thumb on that, it's not fair, it's not right, and it's not lawful according to at least some courts. So Zuckerberg finally admitted that it happened. He said he regrets it. I don't regard him as a hero for having said that. I'm glad that he came forward and said it, but he participated in it. They all did early on. If Elon Musk had not purchased Twitter, we never would have had the opening to find all this information out. And so we've got to vigorously guard free speech, the freedom of the press, the freedom of the speech of the people. These are essential foundational principles that make us the extraordinary nation we are, and they're in jeopardy right now. And this is the latest example. So what will Congress do? If we have the outcome in this election that I anticipate we'll have, you're going to have various very vigorous guardians of the First Amendment and those founding principles in charge. I among them. I used to be a religious liberty and free speech litigator for 20 years. So you're going to see a very aggressive pushback on the social media platforms. I believe President Trump will be a big advocate for that as well, and we will be able to bring them to heel, so to speak. I think that's really, really important. Other question? Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. I'm Monroe, KOEA News. If you're reelected for the 4th district, how do you ensure that the entire area gets attention and resources?
Yeah, great question. So after redistricting, my district is humongous. It comes all the way over here to the eastern part of the north central part of the state, and then it goes all the way down almost to the coast, almost to the Lake Charles area down there, Sulphur and Moss Bluff and all that. So it's a wide area, but the unique thing about this district is the people are exactly the same. Little different accents deep south of the district, but the values are the same. They're all hardworking people. They're God-fearing people. Many of them have deep roots in Louisiana because we have the best culture and the best food and all these things. And we just need an opportunity. And so, as I mentioned, this corner of the state and even in the deep south part of the district as well, they're well poised in the Lake Charles area. They have the ports and all this new expansion and potential. So we want to maximize that. Obviously, Louisiana's economy is directly tied to the energy industry in so many ways, and by allowing that to flourish again, you allow for all sorts of opportunity and open doors here. We believe we could be the principal exporter of LNG around the world, and there's certainly a demand for that around the world, but the current administration has paused it. So we're going to reverse that, and I think that'll bring a lot of new opportunities statewide. Of course, agriculture is a big thing in our state. We're poised for more opportunity and growth, and if we get the tax policy right and we do regulatory reform, which we have very vigorous plans to do, then you'll unleash the free market again, and I think Louisiana can stand out among all the states in our region, and even nationwide, because we have so many of these potential assets here ready to go and maximize. So we're really excited about that. It's the first time in history that any state has had the top 2 officers in Congress at the same time, and so I'm Speaker of the House. Steve Scalise of the New Orleans area is the majority leader in the Congress. We believe we'll hold those positions in the new Congress, and Louisiana will be well situated. Our entire delegation works very well together. Julia Letlow, who also represents the other parts of the north central and these parts of Louisiana, we all coordinate very well together, work very well together, and I think we have very good, very bright days ahead. So we'll see. Jeff? All right.
Can you speak to all these illegal immigrants, reports of them being flown into Shreveport, as a matter of fact, around the country, getting them pathways to citizenship? I mean, this has been going on a while now, and I think it's starting to pick up again right here.
I've got a 90-minute seminar on this one, Jeff. Let me give you a quick summary. I've been traveling around the country because the speaker's job right now is to go all around the nation and be with all of our candidates and our incumbents to ensure that they get reelected. And as of earlier this week, I had done events in 196 cities across 39 states so far. And the reason I bring it up is it doesn't matter where I am, whether I'm in Montana down to Florida, Maine to California, the exact concerns of the American people are similar around the country, and they always begins with the open border. It is a catastrophe. And we don't have to recount all the terrible ills that come from that, but you've got tens of thousands of Chinese nationalists that come across the border. You have dangerous persons like MS-13 gang members. You've got hardened criminals. You've got the traffickers and all the rest. You have hundreds of people on the terrorism watch list that have been allowed in the country. The FBI directors testified multiple times in Congress to committee that all the red lights are flashing, and what he means by that is the enemy is now here among us. But the total of all the people who have come across the border, we estimate to be close to about 16 million illegals, okay? I took the largest collection of members of Congress down to the border in January this year. We went to Eagle Pass in the Del Rio sector in South Texas, which was the epicenter at the time. They told us there that 70% of the people who have come across illegally in the last 3 years are single adult males between the ages of 18 and 45. So this is a serious problem. And the question is, why would they do it? Why would Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, the border czar, allow the border to be wide open this entire time? And now I think we know. I think they want to turn them into voters. And that's what's happening right now. Because as all these people are shipped around the country, they come across the border, and NGOs, non-governmental organizations, are shipping them around the country. Not benevolently, by the way. They're sending the receipts to the taxpayers and the federal government, so we all pay for that. But as they go through, like the airport in Shreveport, the regional airport, they're sent around all over the country, all points. And the administration tells them through its representatives, as soon as you arrive in your point of destination, go to the welfare office and sign up for benefits in your local, local location. When they do that, when they go in, there's a second form that they're given. Because of the early 1990s era motor voter registration laws, we wanted to make it easier for U.S. citizens to register to vote in U.S. elections, because that's the law. Only U.S. citizens can vote. But they give them this form, and right now, all around the country, all you have to do is check a box this big that says, I'm a U.S. citizen, and you are put on the voter roll. Under federal law right now, under current federal law, the states are prohibited from requesting proof of that citizenship. It is outrageous, and so we recognized this months ago, and we drafted a bill to fix it. It's called the SAVE Act. I put it on the House floor 8 weeks ago. It passed with all Republican votes and a handful of Democrats. But 198 House Democrats voted against the SAVE Act. All the SAVE Act says is that the states should have to require proof of citizenship before somebody's put on that roll. They voted against that. And we did still pass it out of the House because they have a narrow majority, but we sent it over there, and it's sitting on Chuck Schumer's desk collecting dust in the Senate. That tells you where their priorities are, and that this is a serious concern for the upcoming election. Just a few days ago, Texas did an audit of its voter rolls. And they purged over 1 million names off the voter rolls. A lot of them were people who passed away and no longer with us, but thousands of them were illegals who were registered to vote in Texas. I'm grateful that Governor Abbott did that. I know Governor Landry has the same intention, and we have Governor Youngkin in Virginia and some others around the country, but every single state has to watch this vigilantly because it could be a real problem in the election in November, and they can't do it soon enough. Yes, sir. Yeah, well, there's several. What I mentioned is we would have a very aggressive first 100 days agenda for the new Congress beginning in January, and I've been working very closely with my Senate colleagues in the U.S. Senate so that we can have both chambers working together. We're preparing that playbook, so to speak, right now so that we can begin to run and execute those plays early in January. Among them will be the top priorities of the American people. On day one, we will secure the border. Day one. President Trump will issue an executive order, and we'll pass a version of H.R. 2, which is our signature border security law that we passed in this Congress. But as always, it's sitting on Chuck Schumer's desk collecting dust. If the Republicans take control of the Senate again, we'll have both chambers working together, and we will get the border secured immediately. And right after that, we'll turn to this economic development. We want to do a very aggressive use of our energy policy again to restore energy dominance as we had under the Trump years. We've got to make sure that the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act provisions are made permanent because they're going to expire in 2025, which means if we don't do that, we'll have the highest tax increase in U.S. history all at once in the American people. It would crush the economy. We've got to get that done. We have to have a very vigorous regulatory reform process because the agencies that are supposed to be assisting industries and helping them flourish are actually working against them right now. And so we're going to take a blowtorch to the regulatory state. And we have plans on how to do that and have a very aggressive agenda. Under the first Trump administration, we brought in the greatest economy in the history of the world after 2019. We had every demographic was doing better, more jobs, higher wages, the pathway out of poverty was broadened. But the current administration came in and did exactly the opposite policy choices, and they got us into the mess that we're in. So we've got to scale down the size and scope of government, and we have to have a pro-growth economy. And I think that's going to be a big, big part of turning all this around. That's all the domestic policy. On foreign policy, we have to project peace through strength. And right now, the reason our adversaries, Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea, are all working together is because they see an opportunity. They see weakness projected from the White House. And if Kamala Harris were the commander-in-chief, it would be even worse than Joe Biden. Conversely, if President Trump is elected, and I believe he will be, our enemies fear him because they think he's unpredictable. And there's real power and value in having that. So it's a dangerous time. We're in the most dangerous time since World War II, and we have to get these things right. And when this election comes out the way we project, then we're going to have an opportunity to do that. So. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it's all connected. I mean, broadband access is critical right now because it's every aspect of our lives is online now, from commerce and shopping for groceries to education to everything. So we have to have people connected. There's been some great strides made in the rural parts of our state as in other parts of the country on all that. But when we're talking about the development of these AI data centers and all the rest, I mean, this is to serve the whole country and beyond. It's large-scale projects that would really transform our part of the state and the entire state, and I think it would be a really, really important thing to do. I was telling our friends here, I had Elon Musk in my office about 6 or 7 weeks ago before we left Capitol Hill, and we were talking about all this. And the other interesting thing about the development of AI and the new data centers and the need for all that is that you also have a great need, an increase in the need for energy to power all of that. And Louisiana is perfectly situated for this. You need a couple of ingredients to make a large AI center work. You need energy, energy inputs, and you need water and all these things that we have in abundance around here. They don't have that in Texas and California and some of these other competing places. So Memphis has been a center of investment for this. I would argue we're even better situated than Memphis, Tennessee, and I think when the state is working in conjunction with our federal partners, we can really put the ingredients together to make this really work, and that's what we're really excited about. And everything that's happening here locally is exactly what we need to be doing right now. The aggressive moves through the state's economic development and the regional economic development officials and everybody who's here are doing an excellent job, and it's being noticed around the country. I want to say, I mentioned I've been all over the country. I was in Wisconsin about 4 days ago, and they were talking about Monroe, Louisiana, as the place that might be the center of this new AI data center kind of revolution. And I said, yeah, that's my district, that's my people, right? So we have a lot of pride about this, and I think Louisiana is really going to be put on the map here. And if we continue on the trajectory we're on, I think it's going to be a game changer for the whole region. Anything else? Yes, sir. Well, I've spent a lot of time in Farmerville. That's been in my district for quite some time. The people in the district that I've had up to this point know us well because we go there all the time, do town halls and all that. I haven't had as much opportunity to do it the last several months as I've been serving as Speaker of the House because I'm in charge of the entire, all of Congress. But we're looking forward to getting back to that in the months ahead and being back among those folks. And I think they know what value there is in having their representative lead the entire Congress. It sort of goes without saying. This is the first time we've ever had a Speaker of the House from Louisiana, and it's a great blessing to our state to have that kind of influence in Washington. It sort of speaks for itself. But we work really hard. I'm from the district. I know the people, know the values. We're trying to bring that to Washington every day and just bring common sense, Louisiana values to Washington. Washington does not know always what to do with that, but we've tried to keep steady hands at the wheel and help guide our country through a very divisive, very dangerous time. And we'll let the work product speak for itself, but we'll be humbled and honored to have everybody's support again. It's a really pivotal time. We've never needed Louisiana values to be represented in Washington more than we need it right now. And we have a great team to do it. All of our incumbents have done extraordinary work. And we'll have a new member out of the new district that's been drawn after redistricting, and we'll see how all that plays out. But I think we got a great team and a really important work ahead, and I'll be honored to have the opportunity to do this again for the people.
Your thoughts on education? Louisiana moved up in the rankings, but not necessarily where we want to be. What's your thoughts on the state's education right here, right now?
Yeah, look, we have made some strides. We've got great leadership, I think, at the State Department of Ed, and a great vision. And the governor is of course, made this a top priority in the legislature as well. We know we have more to do, and I believe we'll continue on the trajectory we're on right now. The big focus in our mind is always on school choice and allowing innovation at the local level. We've always opposed these mandates that come from the Federal Department of Education because bureaucrats in Washington don't know how best to do education. We do here closest on the ground. So the Bessie board and our local school boards, I think, are very focused, I think, on the right things, and we need that runway to begin to continue to improve this. I'm happy with the trajectory that we're going. We all know that much more needs to be done, but the more that we can unshackle this from federal mandates, I think the better. You've heard President Trump say on the campaign trail that if he's elected, he's even said he would like to disband the Federal Department of Ed. But real reform is on the way, and I think that's going to benefit us in Louisiana. We know best what our students need, not the bureaucrats that are 1,000 miles away. So I think that'll be a big part of it. Yes, ma'am.
Why did you tour this facility here today, and how can it help with economic development in our region?
Well, this is probably the coolest building in the state of Louisiana. That's why we're here. I mean, really, I told the group we were visiting. I mean, I literally have been all over the country, and I've been to all the biggest cities in America. And this is one of the nicest facilities in America. And as we've said, it's poised for all these great opportunities, and we need to highlight that. So part of the reason we're meeting here and not at City Hall or somewhere else is because we want everybody to see this gym that's right here in the middle of Northeast Louisiana and all the potential. And not just, our audiences, but people around the country. We'll be using all this tape for me to help sell this around the country. And when we're meeting with these big tech, companies and all the people who are involved in the development of AI and all the next generation technology, we got a great story to tell here. So this is part of it. We're going to use all your B-roll to show everybody that around the country. So thanks for being here. Yeah. All right, easy audience. That was easy. Any more? Okay. Thank you all so much for being here. And I just want to once again say to all these local leaders, our mayors and leaders at the university, and it's just an extraordinary group. Louisiana is really blessed by the leadership here at the legislature from all the way down to the local level, and we're going to maximize this potential. So God bless. Thanks for being here.